Good evening, you delicious beings. Welcome to Free Flame Thoughts. Oh, today is going to be a very, very interesting talk. I've been looking so much for this talk this evening. Okay, so today we have guest speaker Amor Amenkum, and he'll be discussing conscious touch, conscious cuddling, Tantra, and so much more. I'm so excited to hear about this. So much more about these way of life and existence, the spirituality, and so much more. So let me see who's good. So I'll repeat for those who's just popped on. Amor Amenkum will be joining me today, and it's all about the healing through touch, senses, cuddling, and so much more. Amor, if you are on the line, please send me a request to enter the live and I'll bring you straight in. Hi guys, thank you for joining us today. I'm just waiting for guest speaker to pull up. Let me see if I can go get him. Okay. So who do I have on the live today? Am I going to get some love heart, some thumbs up? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Hello.
Hello,
Oh,
hello.
namaste, namaste. How are you?
Blessings, blessings. I am marvelous. I am marvelous. How are you doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm delicious. Thank you for asking.
Good.
Okay, so before I even get into it and try and unearth you for the next hour, let me begin by thanking you for being here, number one, saying hello to those who's joined. And before I get into it with you, Amar, guys who's watching, we're going to create space to go back and forth with perhaps comments that you may leave. We'll go back and forth with that, but I'm not going to interrupt the intensity once we start flowing to answer questions, but we will create space. Is that okay, Amar?
That's fine.
Yeah, good. Okay, so before I get into it, let me start with how did you spend your day today leading up to this talk?
Today I spent my day today, my usual. I get up and I do some Qigong exercises, some meditations with some brothers that I'm in a program with. We do it 3 times a week. So spend some time with the guys there, giving them some information, meditation. And I've been reading. I got stuck in a couple books the last 3 nights, and that's been about it. Sat outside and did some sun meditations to
Nice.
keep
Did you
my
say
mind.
sun meditation? Did you say?
Yes,
Oh, that
yes.
sounds divine. That sounds right up my street. That's nice. So what books are you reading at the moment? What type of books do you like to read?
So I can show you. So this is a Mamaru. It's with my Grand Shrine International, my Tantra family. Uh,
Oh,
One of his first books is a marvelous book to have with understanding our methods and how we maneuver in energy. Also understanding some of the hindrances that people
mm,
trying to maneuver in through this life. That I'm also reading
nice.
Sex to Super Consciousness, an Osho book,
Mm.
and of course, Awakening the Divine Masculine and Awakening the Divine Feminine.
I
Uh,
love that you said divine masculine because there's so much talk of the feminine that it's nice to hear the man's unearthing of oneself. But we're going to get into those layers. All right, guys. So welcome to those who's just joined and welcome to those who will be watching the playback who couldn't join us tonight on the live. And today we're going to be, I'm going to be unearthing this beautiful young man in terms of what he does, why he does it, and the benefits of the whole practice. Yeah. Tantra, conscious healing, cuddling, and so much more. I'm so excited. Yeah. Okay. So before I get into unlayering you like a beautiful onion, can I get into some warm-up questions with you? Just a bit of Silver's warm-up zone. Is that okay?
that is perfectly marvelous. Shoot away.
Yeah. So let's start with who is Omar? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Omar?
Amor, like love, amor.
Oh, Amor. Okay, it's even
There you
more.
go.
Amor. Go ahead.
You can roll the R if you want. You can roll the R if you want. It's okay.
Amor. Okay. Who
There you
is
go.
Amor? As a soul, who are you?
Amor is everything and nothing simultaneously. Um, I try not to restrict myself to any title, labels, or boxes. So I say
Nice.
everything and nothing because in that void, I'm able to mesh with others in my void. I'm able to receive if I'm empty.
Nice. I've actually recently adapted to just that myself, you know, all the bells and whistles, but I love that. Everything but yet nothing. And I've actually started embracing that as well. So that's beautiful. Okay. What is your origin? We hear the, you know, the stateside accent, but what is your origin? Where's your folks originally from?
My folks are originally from the South.
Mhm.
Alabama is the place where they all met up and had me.
Nice.
Uh,
Nice.
but I spent a lot of time traveling over the last 20, 25 years. I was in the military at one time. So I did a lot of traveling with that. And then once out, just nomading around, finding my place. But originally from
Nice.
Alabama.
So you've been traveling, but have you been to London?
Very short trip. It was through the military. Very, very short. It was just a layover. I
You're
did
not
plan
really,
to.
not really missing much, are you?
I don't know. I haven't experienced it. I lived in Germany for 4.5 years.
Mm,
I had a chance to come over through into London while I was
okay,
there.
okay. All right, all right. So what was you like as, yeah, let me start there as well. What was you like as a boy? Tell me a bit about the
Shy.
boy. Mm? What was that?
Shy.
Oh, you
I
grew
was
out of that, honey.
I was
Yes, you
very
did.
shy. I always felt kind of out of place.
Oh
Um,
yeah, welcome to my world. We do.
right. I felt out of place, and it wasn't a bad thing. It's just that I wasn't like the others, and that was fine with me back then.
Mm,
Where they would be listening to the hip hop or whatever it was at that time frame, 70s, 80s. I was in the Percy Sledge and Sam Cooke riding around in my car. Um,
mm.
I
So
like
when
being
you say,
outside.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I was going to say, so you recognized from young that you felt kind of misplaced and you were comfortable with that from very
Yeah,
young.
yes. I became
That
comfortable
takes
with it at a
strength.
very young age.
Wow.
I think it was a forced comfortability through some things that
Mm,
transpired where I felt um, not taken care of or
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
like, because I wasn't like the others.
Yeah.
So I think it's a forced comfortability that I was able to settle into um, even more.
Mm, nice. Do you have a favorite childhood memory whilst we're still talking about the boy in you? Do you have a favorite childhood memory that you'd like to share?
I can give y'all a funny story.
Oh my God, go for it. I love
Yeah,
stories. Go for
so I like
it.
telling the story because it really is funny, and it speaks to what I like to call when I talk to new clients about being in the moment and not having conditions and restrictions on you. So I used to want to be,
Mm.
always want to be a stuntman, watching movies and stuff,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So I had to be around 10 or 12 years old, uh, between 8 and 12. And I was walking back home from the community center. It's a good 15-minute walk in the neighborhood. While walking by myself, a friend of mine, my brother's friend, was driving by, actually, I didn't want to ride. Remember, I wanted to be a stuntman. So I said, sure. So I got on the back of the trunk and sat on the trunk while he drove. Now, it's a residential area, so he wasn't doing 40, 50 miles per hour.
Wow.
But I thought that was the opportune time for me to stand up on his trunk and practice my stuntman moves and jump off of a moving vehicle.
Your brother agreed to
So,
this, yeah?
yeah, I agreed to it. So I stood up as he was driving 25 miles an hour, and I jumped. And I'm thinking in my head, oh, this is easy. I got this. The ground is still. I'm going to hit it, bounce down, roll, get up, and run onto the house. No, no, didn't work
No,
out.
you didn't go down that. Oh, oh, hell no. What happened?
I hit the ground because I was moving. The ground was still, yes, but I was moving, motion. I hit the ground, tumbled, and I wore glasses. I like to play, and I think it was maybe my third pair in a 2-year time frame. So I got a threat
Oh
from the
my
mom.
goodness.
Again, she's gonna break my butt. So didn't care about nothing else but the glasses. So I covered my glasses up, and I
Oh,
tumbled and rolled.
oh, bless you. How young were you?
Chunks
What age?
had to be between 8 and 10, maybe 11 years old.
That is
And
adorable.
yeah. So mind you, my brother's friend, a male, was driving. Because men are taught not to be human, I could not cry in front of him, right? I could not show emotion.
Mm.
In pain, I get up, yeah, I'm okay. Maybe 5 houses away from my house, blood on my knees, blood on my shoulders, chunks gone. I'm limping up close to my house. And when I come into view of my home, if somebody was home, I stood up straight. I took the pain and I walked in the house. Said hey to my mom, went to the back room, and I doctored myself because I could not go in the house and tell my parents that I injured myself jumping off a moving vehicle.
They would have been like, boy, your ass
So I doctored
crazy.
myself. Took the pain of peroxide and alcohol and everything I know to put on scripting. My dad was a firefighter, so he had the little stitch tape for the stitches. So I did all that. Hid the dirty clothes, the bloody clothes in the room until I could wash it with nobody being around.
Oh,
It's about 4 months I took the pain so no one could find out that I had hurt myself. And nobody ever knew it. My mom, pops never knew. None of my siblings knew because they would snitch.
oh. So for 4 months you were in pain.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Poor
I had to
baby. So did you cry?
undress, redress. Oh, I cried once I got in the room.
Yeah, by yourself. Oh. So did your brother not know that you hurt yourself after that?
No, nope.
You just firmed it out like a soldier.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, as we say in London.
Yep. Just took it.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't let up. So
Oh,
even when people had me on my back, good job, they hitting the chunk of meat that's gone. I couldn't respond. I couldn't react. I had to breathe. So it's my favorite story because
oh my goodness. Thank you for sharing it. Oh, here's the relevant question. Did you repeat the stunt and do you still want to be a stuntman?
I still want to be a stuntman, but I did not repeat the same stunt.
Oh, bless you. Wow. Mm. Wow. And
I
I
did.
guess through breathing through that, you became a master of what you do now. Yeah?
Right,
Uh-huh. Okay.
right.
Right.
That's
Wow,
why
that's
it's
a
my favorite
story.
story.
Wow. How would your friends and family, still in the warm-up zone of warm-up questions, how would your friends and family describe you? I mean, you don't exactly say, hey guys, describe you, but you must, the overhearing of how they describe you or the comments they make. How do you think they would describe you?
I'm sorry, my daughter just got online, so I had to blow her a kiss.
Hi, daughter. Me too.
Akina,
Welcome.
thank you, babe. So, how would my friends describe me?
And
Mm,
family. What do they say about you, low key or even blatantly? What do they say?
so, my family would probably describe me as crazy because of my being, because of how I have maneuvered and grown into my me. It goes
Okay.
against how I was raised.
Okay. Is that the life?
So,
Is this the lifestyle and the profession you've taken? So they see that as
yes,
cray cray. All right.
cray
Okay.
cray, weird. Uh, we didn't raise you that way, but I'm like, no, you did. You raised me to not follow a crowd. Once you learn better, you do better. That's what I did. But to them,
Mm.
I'm weird and crazy. My kids understand me; they're good. But the family,
What are the age group of your children?
I have a 26-year-old son. He has a son, so I'm a granddad. I have a 24-year-old daughter. She has a son. So granddad times two. Then I have 23-year-old twins, boy, girl,
Ooh,
and
that's
two
nice.
and a 9-year-old.
Okay. So your family actually pretty much knows exactly what you do, not the watered down version of what you do. They
No.
know.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
They know all the way, especially my children. I've never watered anything down to them. I've
Hmm.
made promises I would never lie to them, so they will always be open with me. So they know every step of the way. Um,
Mm. Have you received any feedback from your adult offspring on what they think of daddy's
they love it.
profession and passion? Do they?
They love
Wonderful.
it. They love it. They love seeing me sit in my me, not being dissuaded or influenced by what somebody else thinks. And that's the same thing told them.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
we're going.
definitely.
So being able to maneuver in my thing, I quit my career of 15 years to follow my mission. I don't call
Mm-hmm.
my business a business. It's my mission. It's my purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I quit my career 15 years to do.
Nice. Thank you
So
for
it's a
sharing
crazy.
that. Okay, so one more question for you in Silver's warm-up zone.
Hold on.
I'm gonna make it a new one.
My friends now, that was family. My
Oh,
friends,
go
which I
for it. My
also
bad.
call
Go
my
on.
family.
Hmm.
My friends, which I also call my family, they would describe me as just big love. I'm big love.
Oh,
Always. Unrestricted, unconditioned, unhindered.
nice. That's beautiful. That sounds all so delicious and very A1. But as I ask everybody, there's got to be something. I always say to people, even when it comes to describing themselves or how family or friends will describe them or things that they may say, I think there's always got to be a B side or a negative or something. So could you share with us anything that you feel like would not be applaudable that they may think or say or have said about you? Because we always describe the best version of us, isn't it? It's like going on the first date.
Oh, well, my negative side, I don't think it's any of them negative because they're all me.
Oh,
So the things
okay.
that they may dislike about my me,
Mm-hmm.
um, I would guess they would call it stubbornness
Oh,
or
okay.
or mm, someone told me that if it's not feeling good to me that then I don't want to do it. And I said, you're right. If it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. I'm not gonna commit adultery against myself. So
Wait,
I don't just,
repeat that, please. If it's someone said to you that if it's not feeling good to you, then you say no. Did I hear right?
yes,
But that's logical, right? Who would say yes?
I thought it
Oh,
was.
then again, people that don't know how to say no would say yes. So, okay, we can rock with that. I like that you're like that. So that's cool with me too.
So I guess they would say that. I don't know. I think the weird would be the so-called bad side. Um, I'm pretty easygoing. I like to go with the flow.
Hmm.
I've been told that once I get something in my head, then it's unshakable.
That's a beautiful thing.
I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I don't have to agree with your point of view to respect it. I don't have to
Mm.
change it. I respect what you're saying, but that's not my truth. That's yours, and I can respect your truth. So that unbending, I've been told that sometimes.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to ask you a very last question, and I haven't asked anyone this question yet. So here
Ooh,
goes. No, ain't that deep. Or maybe it is. What color of all colors best describes you?
that blue.
Oh, wow. I feel like I've plunged into the deep sea. The way is it the backdrop is quite beautiful, like a diver's view.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
I used to say maroon, burgundy used to be my favorite color, like this color here. But to best
Is
describe
this just
me,
more maroon, no? Or this more, would you call this more wine? I'm not sure what you classify
yeah,
it as.
even that wine too. Yes,
Yeah, like
those
wine.
two is my favorite color.
Okay.
But to describe me, I would say right now the ocean, that ocean blue, that electric blue.
Mhm. I
Um,
love electric blue. Why?
because
Why
of
would you
the
say that describes you? What is it about that you resonate so much with?
water,
Mm.
the water elemental. Being able to dive deep into the depths of the ocean, like we still don't know how deep the ocean goes.
Mm.
All the work I've done, I still don't know how deep I go. I'm still unfolding, still pulling back my layers.
Come on
Uh,
now.
just
Mm-hmm.
like the water elemental, there are many phases of me. Some can get mist, some will get a raging river, some get a tsunami, a placid lake, many phases of this blue. And it's all,
Mm.
you can come dive in me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I like
Well,
to do
thank
it.
you for that warm up set of questions. Good evening, guys. Welcome, 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 welcome. We are speaking to guest speaker Amor. Did I pronounce it right? I done good, right? That's
Yes,
the one. Okay.
yes, that's the one.
Yeah, Amor is with us today. Yeah, you know, a
Hey,
practitioner
hey.
and teacher of all the things healing and conscious cuddling and touching and Reiki and oh, so much more. So let's get into it. Where did it all begin? I see photographs because you know I always say want to be snooping Colombo, Jessica Fletcher when I'm got guest speakers, so I go snooping and I
Okay.
see you were a cop before, as you call it. We call you like popo, you know, police.
Yes,
I see
yes.
you were a what else were you? You was in the army, as you said. So
Mhm.
take us a little bit back in terms of when you were a cop versus when you were a soldier, and how you transitioned into this spiritual inclined lifestyle. What happened?
So I was in the Air Force, I was in the military, and in the military, I was also the police force for the
Mm,
military. So coming
okay.
out of the military, it was an easy transition because I had 4 kids at the time to take care of, so I went to whoever was going to pay me.
Mm,
But the transition actually began while I was in the military. The conscious transition. Stationed in Germany, K-Town, Germany, I met this individual who introduced me to a book called Blackout Through Whitewash.
repeat that.
Blackout Through Whitewashed.
Okay.
And that book, this was back in '98. And the
Okay.
book um, revealed to me was revealing a lot of the things that were distorted and lied about African American or African history, the important contributions. So the things that they drove into our head in school, especially I'm from the South, grew up in church. So all the things that were driven in your head, they exposed the lies in it and uncovered the truth. So once I began to uncover, the more I wanted to know. So it went from that, and I was very militant, so it wasn't even hard. It wasn't a hard transition out of a military mind frame because I never got in one. I went in the military so my children wouldn't have to pay for school.
Nice. Okay. So that's a
Yeah,
great
it never,
sacrifice.
it
Great
was never served
sacrifice.
for the country.
Okay.
Um,
What was
but
it
that
like? Can you share, whatever you are allowed to share, legally, shall I say, what was it like being in the military for
I
you?
love the experience of being able to travel and being in contact with many different cultures, ideologies, and personalities. That was the best
Mm,
thing about it. Now, the military itself was pretty jacked up.
mm-hmm.
Again, I was in security forces, a cop, and they eat their own there. So I dealt with more racism in the military than I did before I went in the military.
No.
Uh,
Really?
yes, really, really.
Wow. Okay.
Um, so that was the
And how long were you in it? How long were you there for? How long did you
10
serve,
years,
should I say? 10 years. Okay.
10
Wow.
years separated to be
Hmm.
closer to my kids. Me and their mom had separated while I was in, and at the time, all I knew was being a father. So I left so I can be closer to my children.
Mm. Couldn't have been easy. And when did that stronger pull at your spirit call to you in terms of, living your true purpose? Or should I even say, go back a little bit further and say, what was the first inkling to you having that inner enlightenment of this way of life that you live now? What happened for you?
So I got out of the military in 2006. So probably around 2009 was the extreme pool. So again, I've been studying different from that book in '98. I started studying different spiritual ideologies, Buddhism,
Mm.
all different things.
I love the
And I
Buddhism
went
thing. I love it. I love it.
right
Mm.
all back there. And then the more I searched, the more it went back to find where civilization began
Okay.
on Earth and on the continent of Africa, right? So I went all the way back there. So the more I found out, the more I saw the metal nature on the walls, understanding them, being able to read them, just listening to things, the pull became greater and greater. In the military, I had military injuries, whether it be migraines, sciatic nerve problems,
Mm.
back pains, depression, because I went through a lot with my kids' mom, all these things I had going on, but I never liked taking pills.
Yeah.
Through
Hmm.
the study, I began to find holistic ways of helping myself, herbalism, um, yoga, and I began studying different shamanic healing techniques, shamanic journeying, and then energy work came into play.
Oh,
So I
yeah. I love it.
did my self-studying because where I wasn't readily available to sit under someone. But the work I did on myself, I don't take blood pressure pills. My sagging nerves stuff was taken care of. My body weight, all these things happen naturally for me. And I'm like, if I didn't do it for me, that pull to learn more to be able to be of service to others began. And that had to be around 2009 2010 when it first kicked and I really started getting really heavy into it. I think I went plant-based around 2011,
Nice.
2012.
Nice. That's good. So because okay, it's like seeing you as a tree
Hmm.
and the multiple branches that we have of the root. You are this fabulous root, and you've got these branches.
Hmm.
For an example, had I not even read anything on your bio, had we not, had a pre-conversation, I can often sense someone who is into grounding, someone who's aware of their vibration and unafraid of it. Yeah. So even just seeing you, I think you call it floor grounding, or like you basically on
Hmm.
your back. I think you had a name. Was it floor hugging? I think you called it.
Just hugging the earth, grounding the earth when I was
I
laying on
mean,
the ground,
yeah.
just
So,
laying back.
right. So we think of grounding the feet, but just the way that you express yourself. But I was like, I'd love to speak to this gentleman because his energy is so captivating. I want to know more, and I want to unlay him like an onion and see what's going on.
Oh, thank you,
So,
thank you.
yeah. So seeing you as a tree and you being the root of all these different branches, I'm curious to know, well, which one came first. I know you just stated that you studied and became your own self practitioner and then externalized that to helping other people. But what was the first thing? Was it a Reiki? Was it the Tantra? Let's go into the first part of the profession and where it began for you.
Um, I first began studying shamanic rituals,
Tell me about that.
shamanic journey. Just like I said, doing a lot of self-studying. Found out my dad's mother um, was native, indigenous to this land, so to do more digging into that. My family couldn't tell me much. They don't keep record. They don't like to talk about stuff, so I did a lot of digging myself.
What is it
Um,
about our folks? I don't, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. I don't
yeah.
know. Um,
Mm,
so in researching or thinking about it, I went into, like I said, I was already aware of meditations and things, so I
yeah.
started to direct it to indigenous spiritual practices, shamanic. So learning how to do a shamanic journey, going into the lower earth, middle earth, upper earth to connect with guides and ancestors and spirits
Hmm.
was
What does
was
that
actually
entail?
the
Get into that a little bit. What does that entail? Lower earth, upper. What does that mean you are transcending via astral travel, or what does it mean that you're doing? What is the practice?
yes. So we go in meditation. How I learned it, I would go into meditation, sit still, and I would envision a place on Earth. I want to envision a place. Like there was this lake in North Carolina I used to go to um, that had this fire pit beside it,
Hmm.
and I will walk and you go into the earth, like go in like a big tree with that's hollow. You enter this and you go down, and you go into the lower earth. They call it underworld, but it's not what the
Hmm.
masses want it to be. But you can meet spirit guides and your spirit animals there to give you direction. So I would go down into the earth, to the lower earth, and meet my spirit guides and whatnot, and see what I'm being led or see what I'm being told. Or the middle earth, I would like go out my front door. I would envision myself in meditation going out my front door and walking. And as I'm walking down the street, I may turn a corner and I may be at my grandmother's house 6 hours away in my head. And at this point, I'm interacting with my ancestors, with my grandmother, um, with whomever. Up Earth, you take the elevator up and you're going into the cosmos, universe, whatnot, and you're meeting different spiritual entities up there. Actually, while doing shamanic journeying, I met my dad's mother.
So let's
Uh,
go back a bit, especially for viewers' perspective as well as mine. So, some will say, I meditated on this and I envisioned that, but they actually haven't vibrationally gone there. No, they vibrationally gone there, but let's say spirit realm hasn't really traveled there. So are you saying the meditation wasn't just you, pondering on an image, but you actually traveled there in spirit realm? So you actually felt as though, or you literally did in spirit realm meet these individuals and have encounters? How deep was it really, for real?
so in the beginning, yes, in the beginning it was imagining. Use your imagination because that's a very powerful, strong tool, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
You see it until you believe it. A lot of things that come in our way is our conscious mind stopping us
mm-hmm,
from believing that we're able to transition, that we're stuck in this meat suit, but we're not. We're energetic beings.
mm-hmm.
After continuing the practice, it did become to where it was um, easier and automatic. I feel a sensation over my body come to know I'm crossing over a plane.
Wow.
Uh, and yes, I literally, that's I literally met them. So meeting my dad's mother, my grandmother, I've never met her. She passed when he was 3 years old. I never had a chance to meet my dad's mother. He never had a picture of her growing up.
That's where I was
So I
going.
met
Go
her.
on.
Exactly. So I met
So you
this
can
woman.
describe her. You literally can describe that as the
Yes,
same woman. Oh, wow. You
yes.
went all the way deep. You went
I
in.
literally
Yeah.
met her, but I didn't know who she was. I just asked, "Are you here? Are you a benevolent ancestor? Are you, here to harm me?" She said no, and I was meeting her through all my meditations and journeys, whatever, and she was guiding me and talking with me. Matter of
Wow.
fact, my business name, my mission name, Kabatu, is the name she would call me. Is the name she would
Mhm.
call me in my meditation. Again, I didn't know she was my grandmother. I just had been speaking with her for a good year and a half. Then one day, I traveled down to go visit my parents. And I get in my parents' house and talking to them, sitting around. I look up on the mantle and I see this picture of this woman who I've been seeing. I'm like, Dad, who is that woman?
Mhm.
He was like, who? I said, right here. And I grabbed the picture. I'm like, who is this woman? He was like, my mother. I said, my grandmother, your mother? He was like, yes. He was like, why you ask? Well, I've been talking to her for the last year and a half.
And all right, yeah, this is the part I've got to get to now. They don't believe in all that, do they?
Right, no.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to relate to my folks. So, okay. So I can imagine how they saw you. Well, he deep till he's
Right,
gone. Like, he gone all the way.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
But
Okay. So
yes,
what was their response? I've got to hear this. What was their response to you when you try to break it down?
what? Oh, there you go, that crazy shit.
How comfortable are you? This is actually relating to me asking you through me as well, this particular question here. How comfortable are you? I know you are very comfortable in being you, but it doesn't
Mhm,
always mean that we project that with others who really isn't our tribe, even if it's blood. Let's be frank. But you know what I mean when I say that, I have the greatest
mhm,
respect, okay? So personally, for a long time, it would be like trying to, in different elements of who I am, share. I sort of was kind of sharing who I was and introducing. They couldn't ask me. They didn't know what to ask. They didn't know, about all this kind of stuff. But then after a while, I feel like I kind of stopped sharing because sometimes people don't want to know the other side of you because they only know what's conventional, not
mhm,
unorthodox.
mhm.
So how do you deal with that in terms of the perfect example of going to your parents and saying that? Do you go into the whole dialogue of I done this and I done that, or do you just not tell them so much?
Um, I tell it to whoever's willing to listen. Usually they'll walk away.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I'll start talking about it, and like my father, he'll just
Mm.
walk. So he ain't gonna hear it. My mother may sit around and oh okay, oh okay. Um, but my father would just walk off. I
Mm.
used to have a problem with allowing myself to flow in my me around certain people.
Right.
Like
That's where I'm going with my question. Yeah, that's
right.
it. Mm-hmm.
I in the beginning I went through stages. In the beginning I went through the stage of everybody needs to know this. So it was very forceful, very forceful, very
Oh, right.
forceful.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then it got to a point to where I kind of held back it from being it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, concerned with someone not being understanding or
Mm-hmm.
accepting. But
Yeah.
that transitioned out very fast
Mm-hmm.
of not needing that from anyone. So I
Mm-hmm.
went from being a force, trying to force things, and standing in my power. So the difference between force and power.
Absolutely. Oh my
So
goodness.
I just stood there. So when someone wants to ask, they ask. Most just like you, they don't. I can go home tomorrow. I can sit in the house with my mother and father and a lot of people, and it will be quiet because they don't know what to say to me. I will answer. I
Mm.
will talk about anything under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
But people are usually quiet because they don't know what to say.
Do you find that with your growth and transition, which hasn't come, I think it's guys, we all know that when you've been raised a certain way and everyone's the same, it's easy. So for an example, if all your folks and majority of your peers were like you, it'd be normal. Okay, you
Mm-hmm,
wouldn't be seen as unorthodox or different or, bohemian or nothing different like that, or the
mm-hmm,
spiritual one, the one that's, too
mm-hmm.
deep. But yeah, so do you find that even though now again I say you're comfortable in your space, how do you, I mean, like, how do you converse with your parents? As you say, you go there and it's totally quiet. How do you find that middle ground with your family and your peers that are not like you?
I accept everyone for where they are. So I know there are certain things like with my father about or my mother about that's comfortable for them. But I'm always open, I'm always open to discussing anything about me. I always give them that opportunity.
So you're just
So I don't
transparent,
force.
open, and okay.
Right. I'm transparent and open about
Mm.
everything. So they'll ask me like, what am I doing? Or what's I got going on? Oh, I'm a part of. I got an event this weekend called Sex Down South. Sex Down South. What is that? Oh, it's a
Is this for
conference.
the grown-up folks you'd say this to, right? Ooh. I bet they brought in the pastor and the holy water for you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure they have at some point.
Yeah.
um, and I tell them about it. You know, they'll get uncomfortable. Oh, okay. Like I don't want to hear about it, but you told me anyway. And then what happens usually they'll say nothing to me and they'll go ask my sister questions about it and she doesn't know. They're like, why didn't you just ask him? He was right here. So it goes to that.
That is hilarious. So you're pretty straight up. I think Sex Down South is the reason why people that don't normally come on this page is watching this live right now. Yeah, but we're going to get into it. This is a slow climax, so we're going to get into it. Yeah, you know the video I put up, the second video I put up of
Oh,
you.
okay.
That's
Yes.
why a lot of people are on this live right now. Yeah, because the
Oh, okay.
inbox is came flooding in. Yeah, yeah. But I'll savor that moment. All right. Okay. Do you find that again, because of your current lifestyle, that people that you perhaps, I don't know if you're around anyone you grew up with as in peers, but people, even family that maybe your age group as well, they tend to want to keep you in the box of where they met you or how they used to know you. That I find that still annoys me with people, to be honest, because they have this. I remember when you was when I was 14. Do you know I'm in my 40s now?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
do you ever feel like it's not your issue for how they perceive what you used to be? Or do you kind of see as you've grown, but they haven't? How do you deal with the fact that people don't accept the new version of you?
Um, like you said again, is their issue. I have
Yeah.
some and I'm a lot of my friends I grew up with in the beginning, yes, it was rocky. But the
Okay.
more I live in my space, the more I am in my being is not something I'm trying to tell them about. So I stopped trying to convince them with my words. You see it in how I am. You see how I
Mm,
interact. Um, those are starting to come around. Now they ask me questions about stuff I was talking to them about 10 years ago. And the
mm.
ones that refuses to see me, like I don't go by my government name. My government name is Kemetic Montfield.
That's
That is my government.
beautiful. Kimani is
Um,
beautiful, like Bob Marley's son.
yes.
Hmm.
But I go by my spiritual name given to me by one of my mentors, my teachers, Amor, Amenkum. And it's dual meaning. Um,
Ditto,
but
ditto, ditto.
right. So I will
Hmm.
ask, I would tell people, probably about more. I go home, your daddy named you Kimani, name you. Okay, that's fine. So these are the ones that don't want to see me for where I am now. They don't want to accept this me. You
Does
want to
that ever
accept me
offend you that they don't understand the ancestral vein that you've rebirthed in? Because obviously I get it. I said ditto. So we talk another time about me. But does that offend you as you accept that's just where they're at?
it doesn't offend me at all. I accept that that's where they are. That's the story they're telling them. And usually I don't get offended, period.
Hmm.
The thing that's bothering them so much is what they're bothered by themselves. They're not able
Right.
to see them. So they lash out at me for just standing in mine. And that's okay. You don't have to you don't have to accept it.
Hmm.
I need me to need me more than I need you to accept me.
Mm. That's a beautiful thing. I think your whole responses, and I'm sure the viewers will agree, is so freeing. And it's very true when they say that when someone is feeling, living, and projecting liberation, it almost frees others also and encourages them to be their better self. So that's a beautiful thing. We want to know, I'm sure I'm speaking for quite a few of us here, where did you start in terms of, I know you have the different branches as we discussed before, we're going to go into it now, but which one did you start being a practitioner in first? Was it the Tantra or was it the Reiki?
It was the Reiki.
Okay, tell us
Uh,
about that. Tell us about how you discovered that and what inspired you to go into practice.
so in the trying to heal myself or the illnesses my body had,
Okay.
I started researching and I found Rasekiar's temple, Mukajara, on
Mm.
YouTube. And like I said, I wasn't anywhere where I could sit up under her, so I did a lot of self-studying and listening to her videos and getting her books. And she teaches Raseki arts. Raseki arts is Kemetic Reiki. So it's a system brought back in from my ancestors, Kemetic Reiki system, um, that I started self-studying. And I actually moved from Alabama to Charlotte to sit up under her once my older four graduated high school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But in my search for her, I couldn't find her immediately. So my very first introduction of being able to sit up under someone was with Asha Sims with Ashakti Healing in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I became Usui Reiki certified level 1 and level 2 first. And then 2 months later, I found Mukajara. And I went and did the Kemetic Reiki side of it too. So the Reiki was the first.
Can you define the difference for us in terms of the two different types of a Reiki? The pros and cons as well, please.
So Usui Reiki is the Asiatic or Japanese style of the energy healing. Where we use energy to flow through our body. We're just conduit for the energy. In Usui Reiki, the first 2 levels, level 2 is practitioner, level 1 working on yourself. But the first 2 levels, we're assigned, you have 4 symbols to work with, to use on the practitioner, to use on yourself. You have and it's more quiet. So you're sitting there, you're doing what we grow up knowing, laying of hands. When a child hurts his leg and the child, all they have to do is put their hand on the leg. Mother's doing Reiki then. She is channeling energy through her to help.
Oh, wow. Absolutely. If you put it like that, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And that happens. We're doing it unknowingly all the time. So the Usui Reiki is quieter. You sit there with some nice music in the background playing. You allow the energy to flow. And you're sensing where in the energy centers of the body, the chakras is what they call it, is what it's known as in the Japanese world. And it's much quieter. It's kind of quiet. There's not too much going on. Now, Raseki. Again, this is a system brought back into this time frame from Kemetic, from Africa. And it's much more involved. It's much livelier.
You're smiling and lighting up. Tell me, what is it about? Tell me about. Go in depth a little bit about the livelier version of that.
So in it, we use sound. Also, we use rattles. Using rattles.
Is it a form of sound healing then? Yeah.
It's rattles. Use rattles to break up stagnant energy. We use drums, call in and raise up the energy, and call in the ancestors. We use hekals, or what we call mantras, to energize the area, and it's much more livelier. So in the session, you'll hear us talking to the person. We're doing releasing rituals. We're pulling out entities and cutting cords if there needs to be. There's a whole. To me,
how long did it take you in study to be able to competently do just that?
It was 2 years, 3 years of continual work of doing it before I felt like I was competent. And then I started studying to become the master teacher in it. So I'm at level 3 of Kemetic Reiki. So it's a Seiba, which is a master teacher where I can teach classes now. But it took, and I still, today, I'm always in a place of learning. So
Absolutely.
To say that I would never, I don't like to say any word master teacher because I don't believe in mastering anything. I'm always learning.
100%. Allow me to ask you a side note, as you mentioned the rattling and kind of like, is it to interrupt or disrupt the stagnant energy? Because I know like Africans, even I, heard a doctor saying, even if you rattled your keys sometimes to shift the energy in your home or whatever it is. But then you mentioned about calling up the ancestors. A lot of people do this, a lot of, especially born Africans do this in different fields. And one thing that a Ghanaian man said to me, who comes from a very deep tribe in Ghana, he says a lot of people bring up ancestors but don't send them back to rest, and that really sat with me. And he said a lot of people do this and don't really know what they're doing, and I do believe that, because I've been to many different places and people are calling ancestors. It's become a part of another trending thing, to be honest, but culturally. But I don't think people are aware, in a sense of, we keep bringing them up, not just paying homage, but we don't lay them back to rest. People just leave that spirit roaming, which I think is a dangerous thing. What's your thoughts on that on a spiritual level?
I believe that is a problem that I've seen.
Can you relate
Around.
to what I'm saying? Because I'm very
Yes,
observant of
definitely,
the realms
definitely,
that people are in now, you know?
definitely. Um, we're calling for aid, but we don't say thank you. They don't say thank you for them to allow them to
Mm-hmm.
go back to the left, to allow them to do
Mm-hmm.
other things, having them right here.
Right.
That that is not a good thing. Like you said, just to leave it
It's a
alone. And
serious, serious, serious thing. People are on, I keep stressing this to people that way. Again, I'm going to say again, and I will keep saying it. We are so caught up in naturally captivating back, a time that was taken from us. And so everything that is allegedly African, people are diving head in. And not just because it comes with the word Africa, it doesn't mean it's for you in this time. And it
right,
doesn't mean it's for you full stop. There's got to be elements of knowing where to sieve. And I think
right.
people, unfortunately, the deeper they're going is the more asleep they're going, not necessarily woke, because they don't have, it's a very dangerous game when you don't know what you're doing and you're playing with these entities. And I'm sure you, for your depths, can relate to what I'm saying.
Yes, yes.
You know,
It is a very dangerous thing. I say the information age is wonderful, but it's also detrimental. The more
come on
knowledge
now.
people,
Yeah,
ignorant.
people are unaware. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah,
So the more knowledge, the more information they get, they become ignorant to themselves.
come on
So
now.
becoming ignorant to themselves, they're not able to recognize or see that what is for them or what's not for them. Just
Come
because
on now.
everyone doesn't mean that it's resonating with you for this time. For this period, it may resonate with you later on once you've grown and elevated to certain places of understandings.
Mhm. Or may never, because
Or may never,
everything
right,
is not for one. Everything is not for
right,
everyone. And I feel like because it comes with Africa, there is a blinker system that I'm seeing with people, and it's like, oh, my ancestors did it. Do you know what you're doing? Do you
right.
really know what you're doing? And not only that, it's a case of, again, different time. In those eras, we put our ear to the ground and knew when enemies were coming or visitors. Though we don't now, we just call each other, hey, what's popping? Those days are gone. So it's like, I feel like caution, so I wondered what you thought, and I'm glad you somewhat resonate with what I'm saying. So how do you, when you say you bring them up and all this stuff, how do you all the people that you associate with send them back to rest? What's your particular style of returning them back to their peace state?
After I end the session or end the ceremony, we'll close out the ceremony. We'll close the portal. I tell them thank you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the presence. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your guidance. We release you back, or you can go back and rest now. Something to that nature. And I don't have a preset thing. I try to have preset things, but they come and speak to me as I am in the moment of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
You guide me. Like I prepared for this interview with notes and different key points to say, and all that stuff went out the window as soon as the thing came on.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
that's not as ritual, but there's always a make sure we closing the portal, closing the not the connection, because we're always connected.
Yeah.
They're always here, but
Mm-hmm.
close that portal for them to come through, because you leave it open, something else may come through.
I was going to
And tell
say
them
one
thank
one
you.
other curious question, especially for viewers that's going to watch this back. How, in terms of when you're bringing them up, how do you know which one is the right spirit of the light to bring up, and not one that you want to send all the way back and never see again or feel again? You know what I mean? There's good and bad in everything. And even our ancestors, guys, not
Mm-hmm.
always of
Mm-hmm.
the light. We know that. So
Mm-hmm.
how, I mean, I know we're going a little bit deep here, but it'd be nice for viewers to actually hear your perception on this. Like when people are saying ancestors, da, 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 how do you know that you're bringing up the light worker version of an ancestor, not one that's not going to go back and rest? You know?
That's why it's so important to build your relationship with your guides first.
Okay.
You
Mm-hmm.
start doing a
Good
whole lot of
answer.
connecting. So you stick with who
Mm-hmm.
because you have your benevolent ancestors of blood and spirit. Benevolent has to be your benevolent ancestors, not just anybody. We don't want the crazy uncle that used to shoot up the club. We don't want that to come in,
I
right?
can't with you.
So, so we're calling in our benevolent ancestors. We're calling our benevolent ancestors and our benevolent guides,
Yeah.
and build relationships with them. So you go with the ones whom you know, um,
Mm-hmm.
whom you're aware of, that you actually had a relationship with in this life, and you knew they were a good character. use that connection, you build that connection, and they are also able to bring up ones that's to you, for you, that's are benevolent as well. And you begin to ask. You can ask them. You can ask them. You're in this physical vessel, and you're connecting with the spiritual world. So they want to have a relationship with you. They want to be there for you. And you ask the people. You ask them when they come up. Are you here for my good? Are you here? Are you benevolent ancestors? Are you here to harm? Are you? And there, you will find out. You will know. You will get a sensation. You will get your answer if you're present in the moment to be and aware. Learning your body, how your body responds to energy, the signals that your you tells you when something is not right.
Well, you seem very at peace, very tranquil, very competent, and very satisfied with that journey, and that tells me a lot. You know, unfortunately, for some people, they have been. This is a little deep, but it's a side note that we can push on. They've done their practices, and I believe they know what they're doing, but shit happens, just like real life. Okay, and they were caught in dimensions. They almost never came back, and that's a whole nother. But I'm being real. This is not, it's not different than me going to the store. I may or may not come home. And when you start entering the spirit realm, some people literally, by all this astral travel and has been stuck between realms and almost didn't come back in one piece. Because, it's a different energy realm, isn't it? You got to know what you're doing.
Yes. And it's important when you're doing that, you're getting stuck. A lot of times people are getting stuck because the work on themselves is not adequate enough. So there's holes in your auric field. There's leakages going on. Your heart is not as pure and strong as you may think it is. If you're still moving out of fear in a lot of places, those things are the things that can trap you or get you trapped in that astral realm or get someone attached to you because they're feeding off of the parasite in you. They're feeding off of the negativity in you. That is why they latch onto you, because there's still something in you that needs to be prepared while we're going in and out of these realms.
I think some people just like experiment and don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes. You know, the Matrix movie, the blue pill, the red pill, and then we can push on. You know what I mean?
Things on YouTube and how to open your third eye, and they doing these meditations, not realizing what's going on.
Come on now.
Don't understand.
Come on now.
You have a lot of work you should be doing in here first. Okay,
so you fully understand what I'm touching on when I say that, but I know that's a whole different live show. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. But you know your thing, definitely do. Okay, so let me get into the whole part of what people want to hear about, because people like to hear about anything that involves some kind of sex, even if it's just vibrationally. Yeah, Tantra is not for the faint-hearted. In fact, I've spoken about it over some years with multiple people and they're still saying, huh? Yeah. So as much as it's quite popular now, why do you think that so many people are still unaware of it or have never even had the opportunity to, experience it?
Conditioning. We're taught sex is sin. We're taught sex is
Pornhub.
Going through sexual energy is detrimental to life. Is causing problems. You can ruin your life by doing it. So anything involving sex has this. You're going to church, sin. A woman bringing a baby in, you're born in sin. So sex has all this stuff on top of it. So for the ones that are unaware of it, I don't necessarily think they're unaware of it, but they repress it. And the more you repress something, the more control it has over you. That's why when you go to dream, that's why they dream of it all the time. Or they watch a TV show without being aroused by saying Idris Elba, because they repressed something.
Wait. Say his name again.
Idris Elba.
Lord, let me get it together. That's my guy. Well, one of them. So I'm one of those. You see, you say his name and I don't know what's going on. The whole life is over.
That's all. I might never do this guy.
Oh, come on now. All right. So when I say that a lot of people still don't know about it, literally, I mean, in my past partnerships, I've spoken about it, just testing the waters in terms of what people know. And sometimes you can have a conversation, and even if people are enlightened, you know it's not a practice that that individual may be even ready for, because they're still of the flesh. They speak
Right.
of spirituality, but they're still of, they can't comprehend perhaps sitting there with legs crossed and having an orgasmic flow just by having, and you know, the eye stare again. Not sure what you call it, but you know, the focus of the eyes. Or so tell me, you know, what's your thoughts on so let's go into the benefits. What are the benefits of Tantra? Let's start there.
One, I think Tantra is a being. You know, it's not even something I do anymore. It's a being. It's my um, part of who I am. It's part of my makeup. So, in the
Mm-hmm.
benefit of Tantra, right? So, tantric living is being able to find bliss and pleasure in all things, and it's all
Mm-hmm.
inward. It's inwardly going outward. So, it's not determined by external circumstances. You can have
Mm-hmm.
you could have a tsunami going outside, a tsunami of chaos around you. That's your external circumstance that you have no control over. Internally, tantric is being in bliss and in pleasure while in the midst of the chaos, because you can find
Oh, that's
bliss
nice.
and pleasure in it. So the benefit of it is being able to stay present in the aware. You staying presently aware in the moment, because that is the only reality we have. The past is our uh, interpretation of what happened. The future is our projection on what we want to happen. Neither of them are real.
Mm-hmm.
The present is the reality. So being present in the reality, to be able to learn how to respond to things instead of react. We can respond to life and how it is coming instead of reacting. We can
Nice.
understanding that where things are happening, not no longer to us, but they're happening for us. There's, you know, it's always nectar. You know, it's always a moment of school, a hospital, or a party. We're either learning something, we're
Mm.
healing something, or we're having a party about what we've gone through. It's about being present in the moment. The benefits of Tantra is being able to, in the grand trance system, being able to remove these false belief systems and counterfeit personalities that's put on top of us, and on top of us, our authentic self, that prevents us from authentically flowing in our own way. So, living blissfully, less depression, um, being able to understand and maneuver through life in a more pleasant way. Uh, love, and I see, when I mean love, I mean the love that is not conditioned, the love that has the henceforth of therefore this and that. If you love me, no, 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 no. Love don't have conditions. Love don't have none of those things. Love just is. Man
Mm.
has put all these things on top of love to call it love. That ain't love,
Of course, man, you know, human, of
right?
course, of course, absolutely. So tell me, so you've covered the baseline and why you are Tantra. That is,
Mm-hmm.
I love that you've done that, because I was like, how is he Tantra? Now I know. Because it's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how you've broken that down, especially being in the present and the blissfulness and, you know, relinquishing of the boxes and you know, it's a beautiful thing. It sounds really, really lovely. So in terms of, it's not just, you know, the sexual side of it. So I saw a video, and this is the video that if you haven't seen it, guys, if you go to this page on the promo, which Amor has kindly done the voiceover, I thought it'd be nice to have him. I didn't know whose voice was sexy or mine or his, so I was like, listen, you do it. If I'm allowed to say, I was like, listen, I love my voice, but honey, you do the promo. You're doing it this time. So beautiful promo. And the second slide is of Amor having an experience. And was that a part of the Sex Down South convention? Or was that
Yes,
something
I was.
totally different?
Yes, it was a part of the Sex Down South convention. I was a part of the first event inside of it called Little Bang, and I
Oh,
had
the
done
names are so appropriate. Go with it.
a little demo. A little demo. I was
So talk us through it, because the inboxes I received was like, wait, Silva, is he actually? And I'm like, no, he's not. But it looks like he is. No, he's not. But like, wait, like what's going on? Come on the live, we'll explain. Yeah. Now, all right. And then I saw a second video of a beautiful sister speaking elements of her testimony. And I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, she's saying that her partner went to see one practitioner and then she came to see you. All
yes.
right. That's when maybe you can call it earthly possession took over and what I classify as sacred took over. Because personally, in a relationship zone, I wouldn't want to experience that with anybody else. So how do you, and this is the part I want to get onto now. May I
Okay.
ask, are you currently in a relationship? Or should I say, I don't know what your version of committed would be, but you can enlighten me.
No, I'm not currently in a relationship. I like to say, you know what? Let me amend that. Let me give you my answer I gave everyone. I am married to me, and I'm in a relationship with life.
Oh
And
yeah,
all
that I'm always married to me, definitely.
and all
So
of
I
theirs
keep
is life.
that.
But I don't
Okay.
have a specific partner, is that what I'm saying.
All right. So
Um,
allow me to
so
ask you the questions that go through humans' minds, not necessarily spiritual levels, but humans' minds. If you were in a committed relationship, or maybe you would say you wouldn't even delve into one if the person wasn't A, B, Y, and C, but would you find that to be appropriately acceptable? Like, for example, that practice that you had in the video, if you were with somebody, would that be something that you'd comfortably still do with somebody else?
yes,
Okay. Does that
yes.
mean you have to then marry someone who's into this lifestyle and has an acceptable understanding of that?
They would have to accept and understand me. Um, my relationship status is ethically non-monogamous because I believe
Ah,
that my I'm not a limit. I'm not a limited being.
okay.
So even in a I was my last relationship, I was in a monogamous style relationship, and I
Okay.
was with Tantra. So when I met her, I actually introduced her to my Tantra family, took her to a class uh, um, in it because this is part of who I am. So yeah, if
Absolutely.
I get in a relationship with someone, you're if you're not able to understand the importance of this work because sex and spirituality are not separate. They're not a separate thing. So it's way more than just a physical carnal sex thing.
Mm-hmm.
So even the demo I did, yes. Matter
Mm-hmm.
of fact, I did a demo with. She was married. She's a
Okay.
married woman. We
So,
were friends.
so okay, so obviously because everyone's rendition of union is
Mhm.
rightfully individual to them, whether that's cultural understanding or acceptance or religious or just personal. So naturally, one size, one remedy does not fit all, and I'm really really open to that.
Right.
So when I viewed it, I saw it as a beautiful form of art, number one. But that's
Mhm.
me thinking in the realm of this is not my partner. You see? No, do you know what I mean? Because
Yes.
and it doesn't make it right or wrong. Absolutely, just difference. And although I saw it as beautiful and I put it in bold, oh, this is beautiful. That's something that watching it in the form of art with you or somebody else is beautiful. Me experiencing that with my beloved is beautiful. But I definitely wouldn't have because that is. I mean, how deeper does it go then? That level of vibration and intimacy, spirituality, vibrational energy exchange, energy climatic exchange with somebody else, but yet I'm in love with somebody else. I couldn't fathom that. What's your thoughts?
Um,
For me, it loses sacredness if I give that to somebody else if I'm with somebody. How do you
right.
feel? What's your thoughts on that?
So that and my thought in that is that exactly. For me, if we are a limitless being, we're abundant, we're connected to source. How can something be lost if it's
Mm-hmm.
an abundance?
That's very
Uh,
true to look at it like that. Mm-hmm.
right. So it's not something I lost just because I was able to have share that forever moment in that time period with that sister
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that same uh, energy can be shared with someone else. So that exercise was an exercise of two empty voids coming together to experience this
Mm-hmm.
exposure, to experience one another. I'm
Mm-hmm.
intertwined with you. We are intertwined with one another. We're breathing in life force and
Mm-hmm.
into each other and out of each other. We're
Because you
communing.
say you say on your bio on the description like surrendering, isn't it? The surrendering
Yes,
that particular act of okay. So you
surrendering,
both you
surrendering.
both were slightly you both had underwear on, am I
Yeah,
right?
yeah. She had a dress on and pants on, and I had pants
Yeah.
on.
But that was
Actually,
that was quite orgasmic, no?
yes, yes, yes. Yes,
Okay.
part of the
Wow.
dance music, raise that energy up. And the best thing, she can take it back to her husband to do it with him. Because
Mm,
how would someone go do it with their significant partner? They don't know what's going. They don't know how to.
mm,
Um, They don't know how to. Even to the point of having my significant other on the table being worked on by another man. So
Mm-hmm.
doing the Tantra energy projection, we're moving energy and pushing energy in, raising her energy up to an orgasmic state, and
Yeah.
watching her become orgasmic and moan, and even
Mm-hmm.
possibly have an energetic orgasmic release and a wet orgasmic release.
How delicious.
Right. You know? So who am I to deny you of that experience? Who am I to deny you of experiencing
Mhm.
that moment, that energy and or wet orgasmic experience when at that moment of the orgasm, right? Of that
Yeah.
orgasmic moment, we are closest to godliness at that point because there's no ego there anymore and time is stopped. Even when we're in that sexual thing and that time is
Mhm.
coming,
You see, that I get in terms
there's
of me in a committed relationship. But what you're saying is facts. It doesn't take away anything of what you believe, because the level of utopia that you will reach, absolutely, 100%.
right. So
Hmm.
why would I want to restrict somebody that I love from experiencing her godliness
Mm.
through a tantric service session or whatever kind of session, whatever
Hmm.
kind of, because I
Do you
love
know?
you.
Do you know? Let me
Mhm.
add that this something has come to mind. Do you know on what kind of, I guess, grounds that I would be progressively comfortable doing that? And when I mean progressively, because obviously we know there's no growth in comfortability in some situations. Yeah.
Mhm.
So imagine you're with somebody, you have a, let's say, committed relationship, you have your understanding of committed relationship, and perhaps there is a blockage, an emotional block that is most definitely affecting the woman or man's sexuality, which often happens, but we don't realize. You know,
Mhm.
people that's had childhood traumas, whether they've been, molested, raped as adults, so many things happen, stress that can affect this energy flow. Imagine if I was like, you know what, I know a gentleman called Amor. He gonna fix you, boy. Yeah, or he gonna fix you, girl, whatever it is. That
Mhm.
would be something in those situations that I would feel like, yeah, I need to put aside what I want, what I am uncomfortable with, and look at the healing side of that, which we're both going to benefit once I leave your session, for an example. On those grounds, I think it would be most definitely acceptable. Absolutely.
And that is my work, and that is what people come for,
Ah,
and that
okay.
that is my mission. So, like I said, the being able to even get to the bliss part, we have to remove the hindrances,
Yeah.
which is the shame, the not feeling enough,
Mhm.
the distrust in ourselves, and all those energies block up. They restrict the energy flowing. So you got it trapped in your lower back, you got it trapped in your solar plexus in your spine, you got it trapped in your side, you got
Mhm.
it trapped in your heart, you got it trapped in your throat because you're no longer speaking your truth no more. You're not able to
Yes.
be your honest self because you're worried about not being accepted or somebody's going to be thinking you're weird. So when you close this off, you're hindering this and you're hindering your solar plexus. So
Mm.
by using the tantric energy to remove those blockages, to remove those energetic blockages, which will eventually lead to physical ailments, because the physical ailment is the last sign of you having energy blockages in
Right. Is
your
that,
body.
is that becoming physically sick in some way?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, someone
Like
owes
this
somebody their shoulder
disease
and
is.
they got a big old knot in their shoulder, they got a big old knot in their neck. Well, the idea with people like, you carry the world on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you feel like you're carrying the load for everybody. You feel like you just got to be the person to go
Mm-hmm.
to. Your necks are always tense because you have this energy trap right here.
Mm-hmm. I believe in that 100%. Do you do tantric massage then? Because that's always been something that's interests me actually. Do you practice tantric massage?
Yes.
You do. Is that something you're certified in as well?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So we do the tantric massage, do the tantric projection energy work. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all of my stuff are intertwined at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still about moving energy. So the tantric energy work is hands on and hands off. So we're working on the kidney meridian lines, the the water elementals to help move the energy around and get things up out of you. But that is the work. Tantra for me is the the sexual part of the tantra is the cake at the end. The meat and potatoes, the nourishment is the healing. You can't
So
get to
people always do end up with a happy ending, as in a real orgasm, be it vibrationally or, as you say, wet orgasm.
no,
No, people don't. Okay.
no. It depends. Like I said, it'll depend on the person, um, what they're ready to surrender to. You'll be surprised at how many people run from feeling good.
Oh my God.
They don't
I
think they've
think, as you
earned it.
said, sometimes it's laced with guilt. It's no different to people feeling bad watching porn or whatever it is, or
Right.
self-pleasuring, to be honest. As adults, based on your background, belief system, and whatever, you might constantly, I've spoke to someone who said every time they self-pleasure, they actually ask for forgiveness after.
Right.
Way into their
Right.
40s and 50s, they were having this feeling. So I totally can relate to what you're saying in that sense. All
And
right,
then
so
there
let
are
me
traumas attached to it too. There are traumas attached to um, even an orgasm. I had worked with a young lady who had trauma in her early years of life, uh, that she attached trauma to being aroused. So anytime she would get aroused, the trauma comes back up and
Oh,
it stopped.
wow. It's very interesting.
So
Wow.
it attached to that. And
Wow.
so not everyone gets the sexual orgasm. But again, that having anything is not my goal. I am wanting. I have a shirt that says "All gasms welcome," whether it be a crygasm because we're releasing.
Crygasm. I love that. Oh my goodness. Have you ever heard of an orgasm before?
Yes, throatgasm, eargasm, crygasm, laughgasm, heartgasm, all gasms.
I was asked by a colleague if I've ever, she met a guy and she was like, oh my God, Silver, have you ever had an orgasm? And I'm like, what? What? Have I not lived? Orgasm? What the hell? Am I missing out? Like, seriously? But wow. Okay. Well, let me go to the comments. I was actually intending on going to the comments a lot sooner, but the flow was so, yeah, ocean wave that I didn't want to interrupt it. So let me give you a moment to sip on some water, speak to the guys, come back, and then bring it to a slow close, if that's all right with
Okay.
you. Okay,
Yes.
let me put on my 2020s. Okay. Guys, hi, and thank you for being here with us. Let me see if I can go back and retrieve some of these comments. Sometimes they slip away. Yeah, an orgasm. I guess it's when, well, I know what it's like to have someone breathing on your ear and doing all sorts. And I'm not going to lie, from your ear to my toes, but maybe Amor can give more of a significant breakdown explanation of an orgasm. Can you tell us a bit about that, please? Let's ask some questions.
I haven't had an orgasm, but the reports I received of hearing, and I didn't induce the orgasm, but it's when the energy is rising up, it's similar to the energy you would feel if you're orgasming from the heart, like an explosion in the heart, explosion in the throat,
Wow.
explosion in your yoni. So you may have these auditorial or um, where you maybe have grown up feeling like unheard or unable to understand someone, and you get this energy all popping, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like a same feeling you would feel if it was pulsing down in your yoni or
Oh,
in your
wow.
prostate,
Okay.
up in these different areas. The same way you can have your the orgasm coming outward up here.
Okay. Nice. So you feel like someone could actually climax from having this sensation from the ears itself.
Yes,
Okay.
you can stimulate the ears. You can just you can always come to some women can come to orgasmic energy just by rubbing the rims of the ears. Matter of fact, this is one of the positions I do rub on to stimulate and project energy into as I'm
Okay.
and the toes. Like I
Oh
didn't know
my
my toes
God.
so orgasmic. Right between my
Let
big
me,
toe
well, I know guys be having low-key toe orgasms, that's for sure.
and mine low key. I have a sister, Madam Ma'am, yes ma'am. She messed around and was on working on the table and she messed with my toes. I was like, what the hell?
Don't make me laugh. Guys, send in some of your questions before we close the live, but I'm going to give some shout outs. Yeah. So big shout out to Jay, if you're still here. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Iva. How you doing? Let me see. If you can see anyone specific that you want to shout out, please feel free. Amor?
Yes, yes, yes. I want to shout out my babies. I see they came on, two of my daughters, Jacinda and Imani. Thank you guys. Mwah, mwah. Love you. To my GT family that popped in here, thank you. Grand Trine for the support.
And shout out to Chi and Sacred Butterfly. Thanks for being here. So tell me, with your practices, is it restricted just to women, or do you also, engage with men in the exact same practice?
So the Reiki, yes, the Sui Reiki and Kemetic Reiki, men. Uh, I can do shamanic tantra on men, but not the other side of it, right?
Does that
Because
mean low-key are having personal pleasure while you restrict it to only one gender then?
yes, because in our system of tantra, we use the polar polarities. So
Okay.
the polarity pulls me in, or for the work. So I am only working on women because I'm only working on the women because of the opposite polarity, and vice versa. If I'm getting work done on me, it's going to be done worked on by a woman because of the opposite polarity. Now, there, like I said, there are other forms of work that can be done in the under the umbrella of tantra that I do, but the majority of my work in the tantra realm is opposite sex. But I have done shamanic work on men and heart work on men, um, utilizing all the modalities and mixed up in one. So
That's
I do touch both
interesting
men and
and
women.
very, very, very honest of you as well. I didn't give one massive, massive shout out to my sister Fifi on the line. Thank you. I'm glad you like my hat. Okay. Thank you for your relentless support, Fifi. I appreciate you and everybody else that's joined us today. I want to ask you before we close the live, in terms of you being a practitioner as well as a teacher and constantly doing work on yourself, as transparent as you've been with us tonight, who do you go to for your Reiki practices or to release your Tantra energies? And, do you have someone that you go to where you become the
Yeah.
student and the client?
um, yes, I have a. We have a. Like I said, my family here at the Grand Tri International will do table shares where we get to work on one another to help heal. Um, I really enjoy Danielle Hall. She does great work. Sarah Adara Moselle, that's my sister. That's my big sister. She's one of my mentors as well. Adara Moselle, when I need to get straight, I've been doing a whole lot of work. I go to her and let her do whatever she deems necessary. Um,
Nice.
I say
Nice.
I'm
I
her.
think you need to.
her
I
favorite
think you need to fly to London, honey. But before we get into that,
guy.
big up Tori 99, and her question is: with the tantric experience, can you start this journey on your own, or do you have to be an active practitioner and spiritual? That's a fabulous question. Great question.
You can start on your own. I started on my own. All my stuff is self-study before I found someone to sit up under because I don't choose anyone. They have to
Can
resonate with me. I have to be
you give us
sent.
some tips on how one can indulge on our own and get that depth with ourselves?
Um, some tips: breath work, understanding the breath.
Ah,
Energy up. You can breathe, move the energy with the breath. You can do some qigong exercises, yoga, um,
mm,
five elemental qigong exercises you can do. There's the one I do on YouTube that I follow, and it's specifically for the Kit Meridians. I like using mantras or hekals or seed words like and ra while I'm sitting in the horse stance right here, project the energy back into me to raise my energy. Um, there are some other different exercises you can do. 5 breaths to raise the energy. You
mhm.
uh, put the breath, and most important, right? The thing you do to begin this journey is to begin to unlearn everything you were taught on how we should be.
That's where I'm at in life, and I love it.
Right. So we're all just love, right? We have our natural flow.
Mhm.
It's all within us. There's nothing for you to learn. There's nothing for you to cultivate. There's nothing for you to have to go get. The problem is we have layers and layers on top of us
Mhm.
that need to be removed. It's already there.
Mhm. And how does one go about removing those layers and relinquishing and surrendering to just being?
Evaluate all those things that how things are
Mhm.
supposed to be. How has that worked out for you? Reevaluate those things and decide if
Mhm.
that was yours or is that something that you agreed to. You know,
Mm-hmm.
being that I, you asked me when my Tantra stuff started.
Mm-hmm.
In an ayahuasca journey, I'm also in the plant medicine. I
Ooh.
was back over my whole life to show me that I have always been doing these things. I just didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
name for them. This is who you've been from day one, even going back into the womb. I was taken back to
Yes,
the womb.
yes,
I'm a
yes.
twin. I'm a twin
Ooh.
that no one knew I was there until I came out.
Huh? What?
Right, right. Modern age, ultrasounds, all
You
these
little
things.
Kinder Surprise, really?
Literally, literally, yes.
Oh my goodness, that's really special.
I was taken back to then. I tell the story, people think I'm crazy, that's fine. I was taken back into the womb to know my twin sister had a heart murmur. She had a hole in her heart during the pregnancy. They sent me back like, no, you were sent here for this. That's why no one knew you was there until you came out.
That is that.
And through my life,
Ooh.
they showed me
You just
things,
gave me a mind gasm.
right? So
Wow, that is.
unlearning things.
Are you telling me that your mother went through the ultrasounds test as regular and no one saw you? Your mother thought she was having one baby.
My mother and dad thought I was having one baby. So much to my dad said, keep the boy, I don't know about the girl.
Oh, shit. Wow, how special, but also probably so scary for your parents. Or
Right.
like, as in, like, oh my God, unprepared perhaps for two.
Yes, yes. I wore pink for the first 3 months.
Oh, oh
The
my
pink.
goodness, that's so, oh my God. So, okay, next question as we wind down the live. What happens when your energy gets stuck basically in your heart, or is that it's not moving up because of the person not being ready? Can that be like harmful basically? Is that dangerous if your energy is not moving?
It can become dangerous over time. You know what people say about having heartache because there's an energy
Mm.
block in there. You actually feeling things.
Wow.
It can become dangerous. Any stagnant energy become dangerous because it will manifest in a physical form eventually.
Is that because the person is not ready? Is like the question when it
Yes,
gets stuck?
yes, yes.
Right. Wow.
It can be a hindrance in the person on the table because they're not ready to let it go. It's not harmful
Um,
to them in the moment of them not ready to let it go because they're not ready to let it go. Either they haven't finished the lesson of it, they are not wanting to face it, and also the practitioner providing a space of support and love and protection and being present with them, so they
mm,
feel secure, so they feel safe that you're walking with them through this journey. I'm
mm,
not doing it. I am a tool. I am a guide in your own healing. I can't do anything that you're not ready to do. So
absolutely.
are you ready for this? I'm here with you. It's okay. I got you. You're safe here. None
Hmm.
of the things you can see can harm you. So that's why in all the work, the Reiki, especially the Tantra, making sure you set an environment of protection and safety and support, and they are able to feel that. You can say it all day long, but if you're not present with them, if you're not getting that energy out so they feel that love from you, they feel
Hmm.
that safety from you, then it makes it more difficult for them to be able to surrender and to let it go. So it's
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to add or say that you didn't get to say because I was shooting so many questions at you? Is there anything you want to share with us or, yeah, anything before we close this live?
mm, yes. I just want to reshare. Uh, the goal in life, right? The
Hmm.
goal, not to separate sex and spirituality. They're one and the same. Your
Hmm.
third eye is connected to your sacral. The
Hmm.
vision you have about what you want it to be, what you want to see, is connected to this manifestation portal, this reproductive center. You need them both, so you can't separate them.
Hmm.
Two, reevaluate all things you have learned to see if they're yours.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's a good
surrender,
one. That's a good one.
surrender to the moment, surrender to now, surrender to you. Your authentic you. There's an authentic you in you before you got your name, before you got all the rules on how to live. It's still there. That's that you that pulls you back when you're getting too far off to the side. That's that you that pushes you forward when you need to get through something. That's
Hmm.
that you that saves you.
Hmm.
Surrender to it. Look at yourself. You get one glimpse of your real you. That one glimpse of you
Hmm.
will change you forever. No longer are you needing to be accepted by anyone else because you accept you
Mm.
for you.
Mm-hmm.
No longer are you
Absolutely.
needing from love or acceptance from outside of you because you are giving you all that you need. And people are only getting the overflow of what you give to yourself. All this love I have,
Mm.
I love me. I'm in love with me. I make love to me. I'm filled up with love because I am infinite. And what everyone gets to me is the overflow of me,
Mm.
like an aquifer. So you can come swim in it, dance in it, all you want. And it's a
Mm.
choice. I give it to
Yeah.
you because I choose to, because I see my divine reflection in every one of you, in you, Silver. My
Mhm.
divine reflection. I love you because I love me. Your reflection.
Absolutely. Hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh, Amor. Thank you so much. And sorry to those who I didn't get to your comments as we wind down this live. I had to extend the live a little bit just to get a little bit more juice out of him. Yeah, thank you for your time. So, Amor, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
One more bit before I close the live, and I call this part the afterthoughts, the free flowing thoughts afterthoughts. Allow me to ask you, how was it for you tonight on free flowing thoughts? What are your afterthoughts?
It's a beautiful experience. I love the questions. I really, like I said, I didn't know what to expect. And I like that. I love going into the unknown. That's another thing. Always go into the unknown. Even when you get a
Mm.
little anxious about it, go past that curtain. Right past that curtain is bliss. This whole experience has been very orgasmic. I love finding orgasm in everything I do.
Oh,
So I love being able to sit back and converse. I love the questions. I love it all. My afterthought is this was, I feel all ooey and gooey.
oh,
I don't know if you guys
my
seen
work has
the movie
done.
The Five Heartbeats. You ever heard the movie The Five Heartbeats? It's an old movie.
Is it not a musical band or something
Yeah,
like this? Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock Sounds, and there's a scene in there when this guy is singing to this woman who was trying to boo him off stage, but he got into it real good, and he was singing to her, and the girl started squirming in her seat because she was getting all turned on. All like, yeah. So that's what this live made me feel like
Okay,
right
let's
now.
let's do it together, guys. Close your eyes. It's grown folk stuff at this point. Okay, let's. We're doing
Yes,
this.
it's feeling
Remember,
all
I'm
good.
in London. I can't have this experience with you in the conventions and sex downtown. So this is the best I'm gonna get. Let's do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All
Well, you know what?
right.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Hmm.
We're gonna set a time up.
Hmm.
Well, I'll give you a distance
Oh,
if that's okay with you.
yeah, guys, block your ears. It's grown folk having a conversation. I'm so down for that, boo boo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna
We
make it
will
happen.
arrange that
Hmm.
because we're not limited.
Absolutely.
Our energy travels,
Oh my God, 100%.
and all I need is your eyes, and I have them. Like at your profile, and I work in that heart of yours.
Oh my God. I can't wait. Guys, don't be Don't be jealous. Yeah. I'm going to link your page and everything else. When I download this live, I'm gonna put all your details. And before you go, do plug your website, please. Let them know about your village website. Let them know where they can find you, please.
Okay. Yes, my website page is www.kabatu Village. That's KABATUVILLAGE.com. Kabatu
Okay.
Village. You can
Let
reach
them know real quick what they can find on your site and your go for it.
on the site. You'll see my healing services, the conscious cuddle, the tantric touch, the combo, the Reiki, the diviner, the spiritual life coach. You'll also see my mindful reminder apparel. Link on there as well, where I make different T-shirts. Like I said, mindful reminders to breathe, ground, and center. My healing hole. I call myself a healing hole because I take every chance I get to be in
Ooh.
the healing capacity. Uh,
Mm.
all gasms welcome. Experience me, experience you. You should always be in a continual state of experiencing. Life is to be experienced, not just exist in it. And how we experience is by saying powerful yeses. Like I said,
Ooh, okay. Well, tonight and tomorrow, between tonight and tomorrow, I'm going to be just screenshotting some stuff for your website and putting it up on my story so people can obviously find you and talk to you and whatever else services they can get from you. Yeah.
yeah, click
Thank
all
you
you want.
so much, Amor. You've been a pleasure. Please exit the live with the cross on the left or the right, and I'll speak to you shortly.
Thank you. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Guys, what do you think of that? I'm going to send some love hearts in the box, not only for the viewers that turn up today and supported the live, with your comments, as well as another love heart for Amor. He was delicious. Okay, guys, I really enjoyed that live. That was amazing. Guys, so this week, Friday, I've reshuffled my diary and had to rearrange a few things. So I now have available slot for this week, Friday. If there's anyone watching this live, or tell a friend to tell a friend to tell an aunt to tell their uncle, anything goes as long as it flows. If you want to have a live discussion on any topic, again, anything goes as long as it flows. Inbox me, let's pen you in, let's bring you in on the live. You choose a topic, or we can brainstorm together and come up with a subject that we can go back and forth with. Yeah? Whew. Yeah, that was nice. Have a good night, guys.